Welcome to One Brothas Mind, and I am KD Smooth. Today we will question and challenge popular information and views from a B1 perspective, while we expose the real facts you need. We do this to strengthen your logical, critical, and discerning thinking skills. Because in today's world, hard choices are mandatory and they come with consequences. So you need all the information. And at One Brothas Mind, we do this from a B1 Yeshua the Christ followers perspective. Now, if you're not ready, you better get ready with KD Smooth at One Brothas Mind. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's KD Smooth coming back at you with a new report. I pray you all are doing well. Shalom, family. All right. Coming back at you with the report this evening, family, on this issue. Reprobate Mind. This is Reprobate Minds number 2. We're gonna come at this from a different angle this evening. And be clear. This Reprobate Minds report, if you stay with us, 9 times out of 10, there's something in this report that I'm going to share with you that is going to set you on fire. It just is, y'all. But we got to dig into the details here, or as the old saying goes, the devil's in the details. Always in the details. So we're going to dig into a few of the details here. And like I said, some of those details, you're going to agree with, you may disagree with, and the ones that you disagree with is probably going to set you on fire. But we're going to dig into them anyway. Okay. But just before we get started, please remember to smash the like button, share this video, report on all your social media with all your peoples, and be sure to be subscribed to One Brothas Mind, where we try to share with you the information and facts you need. Okay. All right. You see it on your screen. Hopefully you're reviewing this on a big enough screen where you can see all the images. You can see there's a lot of chaos, a lot of criminal activity going on right now. And I mean, what seemingly at a level or a new level that we haven't really seen before in the U.S. And that's what we're going to focus on this evening, is this new level of criminal activity, this literally reprobate minds that we're seeing. Y'all seeing it on all your, when you check out your social media or the news or whatever, y'all seeing it. And it's like we've reached a new level, a different level. And many of y'all are wondering the same thing. What's going on? What is wrong with people? What's happening here? Is this really? Yeah, it's happening. And it's my contention here on One Brothas Mind is because all of the people that you're seeing do all these different things, whatever the criminal things that they are, evil things that they are doing, is because many people have descended into a reprobate mind. Okay? That's what's happening. I'm going to share with you in a moment a scripture that clearly states that at some point, Yah is going to set loose people and turn them over unto a reprobate mind. And that's what's happening. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and dig into there. I have several clips that I'm going to share with you in a moment. Well, we're gonna chop it up about various different things that's going on right now, recently. But before we do, I want to be absolutely clear with you. Every person and our criminal act in the video clips that I'm going to show you, okay, and share with you, every person and every criminal act that you see, I believe is happening because that individual or group of people have descended into a reprobate mind. Okay? And each of those criminal acts should be prosecuted with to the letter of the law equally. I'm emphasizing equally. They should be prosecuted. And these people, each person should be held accountable. Okay? So as we move forward, whenever we get to the point or the contention that I am presenting sets you on fire, rewind to what I just said. Okay? Rewind back to what I just said. Okay? All right, let's dig in here. Real quick, I'm going to explain something to you. Let's get it here. What is a reprobate mind? It's a person that mentally, and I would argue spiritually, have become morally corrupt, depraved, and unprincipled. But my question here in this report, or at least one of them, is can a reprobate or reprobated mind be created in a person or group of people? That's my question. Yeah. Because some people just decide to choose to operate within their reprobate mind by free will. Some people just make that choice. And then other people, my question is to you, their reprobated mind possibly, or in my argument is, was created. Yeah, I think some of you know where I'm going here. But let's move forward, okay? Yeah. There's actually an entire group of people here in America, you see it on your screen, that have been not only criminally, satanically stolen from. Let me back up. They've been literally stolen and kidnapped first, and then they've been criminally and satanically stolen from for hundreds of years, over 400 years. Okay? In other words, this group of people have been economically starved here in the U.S. for over 400 years. Okay? And as I try to share with everyone here at One Brothas Mind, slavery never ended. I know what the lie, I know the lies that they tell you about and try to teach you in school, it's a lie. They're just teaching lies. Slavery never ended. It was expanded. I'll repeat that. In the U.S., slavery never ended. It was expanded to include more people or more groups of people as well. Okay? Slavery was the most lucrative criminal, Gestapo, whatever words you can throw in to fill in the blank, organization and operation in U.S. history. It was the most profitable. They're never going to end that. It makes too much money. So all they're going to do is change the names, retrickirate it, reorganize it. And because it was so profitable, expanded to include most Americans. Do you see that? Okay, here we go. So, as many of you know, early on, when they put out the lie, slavery is ended, the so-called African Americans were emancipated with the Emancipation Proclamation. The U.S. government decided and made a law. This wasn't, something they was just thinking about it. They put the whole law together and said, we owe every freed slave 40 acres and a mule. Okay? It's old. And then there was some trickeration that went down, and the new president came in and shut all that down. We're not doing that. So, freed African American slaves never received their reparations for the hundreds of years of slavery and economic starvation and theft, and you just go down the list. The lynchings, the murders, the killings, just go down the list. They never received reparations for any of that. They were so-called set free. Remember, I told you that was a lie. And just like, well, y'all go ahead and figure out how y'all gonna survive on your own. No resources, no money, no reparations, nothing. Okay? Get that point clear first. So, what you have to understand is, with that and many other things, against so-called freed slaves or so-called African Americans, it's always been a rigged system here in America. Always. From slavery on up to today. It's a rigged system. Like I said, they never ended it. It was too profitable. They're not going to end something that was that profitable. The North and the South I'll put it this way. Yeah, we had the Civil War and all that, but the North figured out a way to rig the system. They said, we don't have to literally continue to do slavery the way we've done it thus far in the South. We figured out a way that we can continue to do it, be even more profitable, and just move forward. Whereas the South were really stuck on how they had been doing it, and they wouldn't listen. Northerners many would say the Southerners were simple-minded. They just wouldn't listen. They was like, we got the hookup. We gonna make even more money. Just come on, listen, let us do this. Let's switch this stuff. Let's put these trickerations. Let's make these new laws and different things. We still gonna be getting paid. We're gonna make more money. But the Southerners was like, nah, because one, we don't understand what you're really trying to say and do. We don't believe you. And two, we're going to keep doing things the way we've been doing them because that's what's been working. Okay, so that's really what happened. They had a civil war. North won, of course, eventually, and then instituted what you see on your screen. This white supremacist rigged system that we all still live under to this day. Okay? So here's some brief examples of the white supremacist rigged system. Right after the so-called slaves had been freed, there was, first off, like I said, there was the 40 acres and a mule that was passed in the law got canceled. The first step, number one. Then they started passing additional laws, things like the black codes that you see on your screen, the Jim Crow laws, peonage laws, look it up, and sharecropping. laws. These were all white supremacist, rigged, satanic laws and systems that were put in place to continue slavery, just under new names. Okay? That's all. And there's been so many others, all the way up to what many of you are familiar with redlining. There's even stuff happening in real estate still to this day. I'm going to share some of those with you here in a moment. But they just got rid of it. They just changed the names of what they called it. That's all. And they're more profitable today from the white supremacist slave, new name, we call it laws, today than they were during slavery. I'm going to show you. Okay? So, here's a question I had. With the images that you see on your screen, if you're not familiar with them, starting at the left top corner, that's a guy that led the prison experiments on prison inmates during like the 40s through the 60s or what have you in Philadelphia. But there was prison experiments all over the United States. Do your research. I've got previous reports where I literally did a whole report on the Philadelphia experiments. Go to One Brothas Mind, go to the video tab, scroll down, you'll find it. But no jail time, no criminal consequence, nothing. And it wasn't just that individual man. You had major pharmaceutical companies and the U.S. government and others involved in these experiments. Not one person brought to justice. Of course, y'all know about all your Karens and Darrens and running around. Y'all already know. Anyway, racial profiling laws. That's another law that we're calling racial profiling today, but that's the same thing as the peonage laws and the black codes just after slavery. The mass so-called police murderers that's been happening, that's never stopped happening. That was happening during slavery, and it's never stopped. Never. Okay. How about land and money theft? Can you say Brett Favre? These are just some examples. These two guys orchestrated land and money theft in the state of Mississippi, and they still, this has been like over 6 months or more, neither one of them have been arrested and charged at the very least. They sitting back chilling. Why? Because it's always been happening. You got terrorism going on in schools. I'm not even going to go into that. I got several reports here, One Brothas Mind, where I go into detail about the terrorism in schools that's going on. Go to One Brothas Mind, scroll down, you'll find it or find them. And then you got all your mass shooters and shootings that are occurring. In fact, they're escalating. It's just terrorism, domestic terrorism. But most of the mainstream media, they go, oh, well, it was a lone wolf and they were having some mental health issues. You know, we can't really hold them fully responsible. No, the mental health issue is the white supremacy in America. That's the mental health issue. Okay, I'm going to breeze past these. I'm trying to hurry up and get to the clips. So just give it. Now, let's look at also the systematic systems, the trickerations that are cooked into the books, into the laws. that still exists to this day. Most or many people believe the system is equal and fair. No, it's not. Never has been for many in the U.S. Loan denials, terrorism in the educational system, unemployment of certain groups of people, more so than everyone else, medical racism. The list goes on. Now, these are literally built in, and I ain't even got to mention the justice system. You literally can have two different people commit the same crime, and they're gonna go, depending on their race, they're gonna get two different outcomes, or at the very least, two different sentences. Okay? So, again, why is all this stuff happening? Why was slavery expanded to where it now captures many more people beyond just so-called black people here in the U.S.? It captures a lot of black and brown, like a lot of black and Asian, a lot of black and even white or European people. Economic starvation. But we're going to dig into the details on that a little bit more as well. But it's what you see on your screen. It's the new slavery. It's economic starvation. Okay? You have whole communities in the U.S. that are job deserts, employment deserts, as well as other types of food deserts, on and on down the list. Those people are locked into economic starvation. So my question to you is, being a person, a human being locked into economic starvation, could that cause a reprobate mind or create a reprobate mind? Stay with me. Again, economic starvation, communities, whole communities with failing schools, loan denials, businesses withdrawn, no jobs, low-paying jobs if there are some there, low pay or what I would call slave wages or underpay, just no community investment, nothing. Communities are being economically starved on purpose because it's just slavery under a new name. Okay? But can people who are stuck or live in these type of economically starved communities, can a reprobate mind be created in them due to the economic starvation? Okay, so now we're going to look at what happens to many people who are experiencing economic starvation, as well as people that are just plain criminals. I'm gonna repeat that. We're gonna look at people who are experiencing economic starvation versus people who are just criminals. My contention is there is a difference. Not that either should not receive justice according to the law of their crimes, equal justice, but is there a difference? That's my question. Some of you will say, no. Anybody commit a crime, that's just what it is. It's deeper than that, and I've just shown you that, but we're going to continue. So again, I have several clips that I'm going to share with you, and at the end of these clips, we're going to come back and chop it up, or even during. And I want you to pay close attention to the clips, and we're going to try to determine if the criminal or criminals in the clips, are they committing criminal acts because they're just criminals? Or are they committing criminal acts due to economic starvation? Because all of them have descended into a reprobate mind. But yeah, let's get right on into these clips. All right, here we go. Clip number 1. Again, the question is this a criminal that has experienced economic starvation, therefore descended into a reprobate mind, or a reprobate mind was created within this criminal? Or is this just a criminal? Here we go. Yeah, many of you have seen these clips. Just a porch pirate, right? So if you, being a porch pirate, let me run that just a little bit more. If you, looking at what's happening, the crime that's being committed, is this a criminal that a reprobate mind was created in? Or is this a criminal that just decided to be a criminal on their own using their reprobate mind? Yeah. Now, some of y'all go, oh, it don't matter. Yes, it does matter. Oh, it matters big time. We stay with me. Okay? Answer the question. Don't be just sitting there looking crazy. Answer the question. Is this a criminal or a criminal with a reprobate mind? Well, let's first. Every clip, there's going to be nothing but reprobate minds in every clip that I show you. And people doing criminal acts. But is it a person that just decided to be a criminal versus or a person or persons where a reprobated mind was created? Yeah. Okay, let me run it one more time so you clearly know. Just take your breath. Take a deep breath. Stay, to my white brothers and sisters, stay with me. If you care, if you dare, stay with me. Okay? I got a little bit of everybody. Don't get scared now. Okay? All right. So we're gonna click over to our next video here. We're gonna roll to our next video. Let's see here. Let me get our next video up here. Where'd it go? Oh wow. Hold on, give me just a moment. I'm having some technical difficulties. We're gonna get there we go. All right. Yeah, I'm right. Okay. Our next video. Again, we're asking the question with the clips that I'm sharing with you. Are they criminals who just decided to be criminals? Or are they committing crimes because of their reprobate minds? And was those reprobated minds created, or they just decided it was better to be criminals? And these crimes that I'm going to share with you are just kind of a lot of the stuff that's going on now. And if you don't know, these two guys decided to go try to steal, the catalytic converter out from under this man's truck. Now, what you don't see is off screen, at a certain point, the owner of the truck is going to come out and get after him. Okay. But you see, this ain't a, accident. They didn't just slip and fall under this man's truck with some saws. This is purposeful. Oh no, don't get scared now. Don't run now. Come back here, Pedro. Look. Now, clearly they have reprobated mind. They're committing crimes, but are they committing crimes because their reprobated mind was created? due to economic starvation, or did they just make decision that this is how they want to pursue their economic opportunities? You tell me. I'm just asking the questions right now. Okay? All right. Let's go to our next video. Oh, I got several. We're going to run through these videos real quick. I want y'all tell me. Hit me up in the comments. Tell me what it is. Tell me what it is. Okay? All right, we got some more. Here we go. All right. Y'all see what's going on at the Apple store in a mall? Ask the same question. All these criminals have reprobated minds, but did they just wake up one morning and decide to be a criminal and do these criminal acts? Or was their reprobated mind created due to economic starvation? Yeah. Told you I got something for everybody. I'm an equal opportunity person here at One Brothas Mind. Okay? Oh, I got so much more. Answer the question. Drop it in the chat. Did they just wake up? Most of y'all are gonna say, "Oh, these people, every criminal just they responsible for." Yes, they're responsible for their own actions and need to be fully held accountable. I agree with you 100%. Question that I'm asking is, did they just wake up one morning, whenever this happened, and decide to do criminal acts, or has their reprobated mind been created due to economic starvation? All right, we got more. Okay, all y'all, there's some stuff. I got some good ones for you. Y'all gonna trip on some of these. All right, let's get this one here. Some of these have audio. I'm gonna try to play the audio for you. All right, hold on. Let's get this one set up. Okay, here we go. We're gonna try this one with the audio. All right, here we go. All right. No audio on this one. I thought this one had audio. That's okay. But as you see here, this lady just walked into a Target store and just went shopping for the things that she wanted, mostly electronics, and then just rolled out. It was like, I'm done shopping. Loaded up her car, as you see, and it was cool. Then she went to another Target store and did the same thing. Did some more shopping. All right, I think I got everything I need. Let me go ahead and head on up out of here. Hey girl, how you doing? Oh, what you up to today? You know how I do. You know, girl. They looking for you. You better watch out. All right, okay, girl. Well, I'm gonna go and get out of here. Loads up a car again and rolls away. And with the audio, I thought this one they basically caught up with this woman a few miles from this second store and arrested her and her driver of her vehicle or whatnot. They both were arrested and are being prosecuted. Okay, so don't get it twisted. But my question is, this lady just wake up on this day, just out of the blue, and decide, I'm going to go commit some crimes today? Or is her reprobated mind been created in her due to economic starvation? That's the question I'm asking. Not whether they're guilty. We agree they're guilty. Everybody I'm going to show you is guilty. But my point is, you can't necessarily throw every so-called criminal into the same box. That's what you cannot do. You can't throw every one of them into the same box. Okay, got some more for you. We got more for you. I got a few here that should have sound to them. All right, let's see here. Let's get it. All right, we're gonna go to this one. Again, these are all pretty recent situations that were caught or recorded. So we're gonna get into this next one. Again, I think it's got some sound to it, so we're gonna see. We're gonna see from there. Let's give it a shot.
Bum rushing a gas station in Compton, California, and stealing thousands of dollars worth of merchandise. They took things like drinks, snacks, alcohol, condoms, you name it. Deputies say there were several illegal street takeovers overnight, and there were vandalisms and break-ins nearby. Authorities say they were outnumbered, so they didn't do anything. They did make one arrest, though, involving someone who is accused of pointing a laser at their helicopter. A large mob of looters was caught on video.
Okay. So, as y'all see here, this just happened recently. I'd say somewhere in the last couple of weeks in Compton. What you see on your screen. Clearly, they all have reprobate minds. They all are criminals and need to be held accountable by the law. We don't disagree there. But my question to you is, did they just wake up this morning and decide it was better for them to just do crimes, or was their reprobated mind created due to economic starvation? I'm just asking a question. I suspect most of you are like, nah, they just all criminals. You can't make a difference. I disagree. Let's just be clear. I disagree on that point. You can make a difference. I'm not saying there should be a difference in their legal accountability at all. But what I'm saying is you can make a difference. And I'm going to get to my point here in a moment. So let's get to the next clip. Oh, I got some doozies for y'all. Let's see here. What else we got? Yeah, let's just go on to this one. Let's get this one in. Let's see what it is. Let me see if there's some sound on this one. Give me just a moment. All right, yeah, there's some sound on this one. All right, let's get into this next clip. Here we go. Oh, it was running. Let me get it together. All right. And if you, for some reason, aren't able to make it out, just real quick, this is a clip of people walking into Walmarts. I want to say it's out of Chicago, some part of Chicago, but they're walking in and they're just eating the food right off of the shelves. Okay? So let me finish getting it together for you. All right, let's run it. Let's go.
I don't think people really get the message on why Walmart is closing on 83rd and Stewart. Bro, that bitch is constantly getting robbed and people are constantly stealing out of it. We got to do better as a community. We can't blame nobody but ourselves. This is what happens when you put big companies and resources in the hood. Then you got people fucking it up for everybody else. Bro, you think they not finna close that bitch down after all them shoplifters and robberies that happened? People recording themselves eating food and shit out of Walmart.
Okay. I believe you have the gist of what's happening. My apologies for the explicit language. But I think you guys get the point of what's happening here in this clip. And again, I asked the question. The question is, everybody in the clips that I've shown you have reprobated minds. They've descended into a reprobate mind. But were their reprobated minds just decided on, a decision that they made? Or were their reprobated minds created due to economic starvation? That economic starvation includes lack of opportunity and lack of options. Again, it's my contention, you cannot put everyone in the same box. Okay? Yes. Everyone should be held legally accountable for their actions. No disagree with me? No disagreement with me here. Let me expand this out a little bit more for you so you guys can see this run through really good. Really, really good. Yeah, it's a lot of people. This is what's going on in the Chi-Town, as well as many other places. Like the earlier clip I showed you, that was in Compton, California. It's happening all over the U.S., like many of you have been noticing and seeing and following. So you can't just say it's this place here or that place there. No. Happening everywhere. Okay? All right. So again, I asked the question. They all have reprobate minds, but was it their reprobate minds just a decision that they made one day? Or were their reprobate minds created due to economic starvation? All right. This video clip here that's coming here, y'all, this is one of the main ones of the show this evening, of this report. It's got sound. I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure we have our sound on this, because I need y'all to feel this, okay? Again, we're talking reprobate minds. Here we go.
Every grocery store looks like this. Everything is either on the floor. Look at this. Can't even get no fucking food for my kids, G. Look at this. Came in the store to try to buy something because I'm not a thief. Look at this. In my hood, can't even get no food for my kids. Babies need milk. Can't even get nothing for my kids, bro. I feel like an animal, and black people made me feel like an animal. Y'all did this to us. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the store. Look at this. But this is what we're fighting for. This is honoring George Floyd. People who already couldn't feed their kids, now they really can't feed their kids. Look at this. I am so devastated right now. I am so devastated right now, G. This is not okay. For us to have to live like this, we do stupid shit like this all the time, and we so black proud. We so black and proud that we ain't gonna never be honest and be real about what's really going on. Y'all are so wrong for this. You came in your neighborhood and fucked up your shit. I'm not a thief. I'm not coming in this store and stealing nothing. And ain't nobody gonna turn me into no animal or make me feel like a thief. Y'all let them white folks send y'all off once again. Look at all this shit on the floor. Look at all this on the floor. Everything. Everything's on the floor. Tissue. We couldn't even find tissue less than 2 months ago, and now it's on the floor. Look at it. Meanwhile, we got plenty of fruits and vegetables. I'm not finna pick through this shit. Every grocery store looks...
Yeah. Let that sink in. I'm gonna let this run in the background, but let this video sink in. According to reports, this is what occurred at one of the Walmarts that are closing, I believe, in Chicago. After Walmart made the announcement that they were closing, was it 4 locations in Walmart? At least one, and according to this person, all of them are kind of like this. All 4 of those in that area are pretty much the same as you see on your screen. Basically, after the announcements of the closures within a couple of days or what have you, the stores were looted. They were destroyed. Reprobate minds. What good is destroying the store going to do for the community, for you? I know many residents there in Chicago is like, man, the hell with Walmart. I don't care about Walmart. If Walmart is going to take the stores from us, our only grocery option or primary grocery option in our communities, that's going to turn our communities into food deserts, then the hell with Walmart. That's basically what the looters were saying. F Walmart, basically, is what they were saying with this action. But is that a solution? How does that help you? Oh, I guess that really showed Walmart. Yeah, it cost them several thousands of dollars, but they leave it. And you're going to be stuck in a food desert now. So who wins that? Walmart. Not you, not the looters. And this is my so-called black family members here. This is how they get down. You know, I can see protesting Walmart, maybe organizing a national Walmart protest. I can be down with that. But this? No. Absolutely not. No. Not only does this guarantee these Walmart stores are going to be gone here in a couple of days, but it pretty much, makes it so that any other store company will not come and take the place of these Walmarts that are leaving. They're looking at this going, nah, we don't want no parts of that. So again, how does this help the community? It doesn't. Reprobate minds. People just doing things that make no logical sense. None. Crimes. Just no sense at all. In the previous video, you saw people walking in, just eating food off the shelf. Reprobate minds. Reprobate minds. I'm letting this run because I need y'all to let this sink into your spirit. Let it settle in like neck bone juice. Imagine this is your view in your local grocery store, especially to the so-called black family, this is what you walk in on. SHTF hasn't even happened yet. Maybe for some, but not the majority yet. And this is where they at in Chicago. Yeah. Where are you gonna go and get food? Now, I've told people this. People think I'm crazy, but I've shared this specific note with many people before on previous reports. When things really get bad, and many of us in the so-called black community, our plan is, hey, if it's bad over here or over there in the community, I'm just going to go out to the suburb stores, grocery stores, because many of us are already doing that. And I'm going to shop there because most of the stores in our communities, as we already know, they're being shorted in regards to supplies. Whereas you can go to a store in the suburban community on the same day, their shelves are full of everything. Whereas we go to our locations in the black community, they ain't got half of nothing because they're purposely being shorted supplies. Okay, so many of us, because of that, we've already been going out to the suburban grocery stores and suburban areas and doing our grocery shopping because we can actually find pretty much everything that we are looking for when we go out there. But the people running those suburban grocery stores, as well as the people in those suburban communities, they're looking at this. And what I've tried to explain to y'all is this is one of the things that's going to happen. And here it is on your screen. Number one. Number two, another one of the things that's going to happen is at some point, think I'm crazy if you want to. At some point, when you go out to the suburban shopping malls and grocery stores, as things continue to get worse, you're going to run into what's called a power tool line. A G, a U, and an N line, boss. And primarily, it's not going to be anybody associated with those companies. It's going to be people from the community, from those communities that are just going to make a line in front of the entrances to those stores and say, no, you can't come in here and shop. Turn your car around and go away. Any closer, we going to start busting. I'm telling y'all, it's already happened. That's exactly what was done. For some of you that are a little older, you remember during Hurricane Katrina, there were many people that somehow managed to walk out to safety from the hurricane after it was over. And they were walking to find safety in many different directions. One of the directions they made their way up on the highway and they walked to the next county or next parish, if you will. And that's exactly what they ran into. That parish didn't get as much damage from the hurricane as New Orleans did. So the people were walking, needing help with nothing to find help and resources. And there was help and resources in the next parish. I want to say it was Jefferson Parish. Please fact check me if I'm wrong on that. And when they got close, they ran into a G and a U and an N line, boss. And that line was the actual sheriff. It wasn't just people from the community. It was the actual sheriff. And they was like, turn around, or you get any closer, we're going to start busting. My point is, in many places around the country, those G and the U's and the N's lines are going to start forming. And they're going to literally begin to pick us so-called black people out as we drive up. And they're going to say, "Can you pull over here? You got to turn your car around. You can't come in here. You're unwelcomed here." And when it happens to y'all, when y'all see it, don't be shocked and awed and surprised, because this is one of the reasons why it's going to happen. Just one. Not the only reason, but one of the reasons. Okay? In addition, this is one of the reasons why a lot of the stores are closing. Clearly. Okay? And then, what else do you think is going to happen? What else do you think is going to happen when this type of stuff happens to these grocery stores and other stores? Well, I'm about to show you. Got another clip for you. We're going to show you what's going to happen, what's already happening. Okay? Right quick. Here we go. This is what's happening. You're going to, for the few stores that do remain open, you're going to walk in and everything, as you see, is going to be under lock and key. And then y'all going to want to scream, "Oh, this is discrimination. This is right." I get it. For the people who are not operating with reprobate minds, yes, it's discrimination. It's unfair. It's disrespectful. It's all those things. But it's because of the people that are operating with reprobate minds that this stuff is going to happen more and more as we move forward. Okay? Everything under lock and key. So, Katie Smooth, why are you making the point of making a difference between reprobate minds, whether they were just people just made a decision to do criminal acts, versus people where their reprobated minds was created due to economic starvation? Because there is a difference. Those last store clips, especially the one at the Walmart, that's from economic starvation. That's the pain, the hurt, the frustration from economic starvation. We already don't have nothing here. We already, prior to your coming, had food deserts, and now you're going to take the store away from us, our only convenient access to food. Now you're going to just take that away. And in Walmart's defense, Walmart is saying, well, our store there is not profitable. Because there's too much stuff in our store. And we're just tired of dealing with it. So we're just going to shut the store down. Right? So, as you saw with the images on the screen, I ain't even got to show them to y'all. What happened there in Chicago, in the downtown area. Hold on. What happened, as you see, in the downtown area, people climbing on buses, on top of cars, all of that stuff. Reprobate minds. But what's created these criminal acts? Did all these kids just wake up this morning and say, "Oh, we ready to go do all these criminal acts"? Or was there reprobate mind created. I contend their reprobate minds were created over generations of economic starvation. Now, I know my white listeners is going crazy right now. Oh, no. La, whatever. But just keep listening for a moment. Okay? Because I got something for y'all, too. Katie Smooth got something for everybody. Which is why you need to hit the like button, man. Hit the like button and share this report on all your social media with all your peoples. And be sure to be subscribed to One Brothas Mind, where we try to bring you the information and facts you need. Okay. Remember, I showed y'all a brief recap of the economic starvation for one group here in the U.S. It's never ended. It's been going on for generations. And the reparations that we were supposed to receive at the so-called end of slavery, those reparations we've never received it. So, in essence, the so-called black people here in the U.S., specifically the foundational black Americans, the descendants of slaves specifically, those reparations, that economic restitution has never been paid. Yeah, there's been a program here, a program there. Bump all the programs. They're trash. They all have a bunch of catches to them. And most so-called descendants of slaves here in the States never benefit fully from those programs as they're so-called designed to do. A bunch of other people actually benefit. Same thing with affirmative action and all these, go down the list. Those programs have not benefited the descendants of slaves here in America. So, you still, speaking to America, you still have this debt to pay. And because you still have this debt to pay, it means in addition to that debt and the continued economic starvation of the descendants of slaves community, the foundational black Americans, because of that, after generation after generation after generation, eventually what's going to happen when you keep people, especially a group of people, in slavery or economic starvation for that long, human beings are going to begin to develop the mindset that I've shared with you on the screen. Okay? They're going to not care anymore. They're going to get to a point where they feel I have nothing, or we have nothing else to lose. So there's no point to them. They're going to lose hope. There's no opportunity for us. They won't hire most of us. And if they do, they want to pay us slave wages instead of a wage that we can actually support ourselves on and live on. So what's the point? And as the generations that are experiencing that economic starvation move forward and add up, you're just going to get more and more people that are going to get to that mental state, which is a reprobate mind. Now, yeah, you got other people that have reprobate minds. They're just out committing crime. But there is a difference. That's my point in your family. You say, well, Katie Smooth, where are all their parents at? Where the parents at? Where the fathers at? You know, keeping these kids in order and woody woody woo. Oh, I got something for you on that one. They, Lord have mercy. They that's been a part of the building of the reprobated minds. Let me see here if I can get y'all set up here. Bear with me just a moment. Had another bit of technical difficulties. Bear with me just a moment. Let's see if we can't get it together. Get it all the way together. Okay, let's try it again here. All right. So, again, bear with me for a moment. Let me get back to where I was. Oh, damn, I'm going the wrong way. We've been over all of this. The point, again, that I am making to you is some people's reprobate minds are just personal decisions that they've made to commit crimes, and other people's have been created. And like I said, you said, where the parents at? Well, for the descendants of slaves here in America, where the fathers at? Let's start with the fathers. Well, this is what they did and have been doing here in the U.S. to so-called black fathers. They immediately, after the kidnapping, they dominated black men by raping, beating, and killing us, specifically in front of our black women, to make a point, to make many points, some being that as black men, as captives, we had no power of defending ourselves and or protecting our wives and our families. This beating, this dominating has never stopped. Like I said, slavery never ended. To this day, it's never stopped. It's continued in more recent manifestations in the high unemployment rates for so-called black men in the U.S. The refusal to give us opportunities for jobs. Or even if we get jobs, the slave wages that have been decided to be paid to us, where we cannot afford to live or provide for our families. Do you see that? It's just economic starvation, or another word for slavery continued. And any of us that decide to resist, to fight, to say, no, we're not going to stand for this, this is what happened to us. And it doesn't matter whether the man holding the whip is a white man or another black man. It's the same thing. Or a white cop or a black cop. Y'all saw that with our brother Terry Nichols. Doesn't matter. It's the same domination, the same oppression, amongst many other things. You say, okay, well, Katie Smooth, where are the mothers to those children that were downtown in Chicago? Well, look to your left. At the same time they were dominating black men, they were dominating black women by raping them, beating them, and killing them. Most of the time they were raping our women, they did it in front of us. Forced us to watch. Not only psychologically and emotionally and physically breaking our wives, but breaking us as men, because we were being beaten or held down by a group of men and being forced to watch, where we could not get free to try to defend her and protect her. So what that created, in addition to the dominated mindset with most so-called black men in the U.S. here today, that created a different mindset in our black women. Specifically, a mindset where she learned she could not depend on her husband, her black man, for protection and safety. That's one point. Two, it instilled in a mindset that to most of our black women, even unto this day, that the white man is her God, is her daddy. And whatever she's going to have in this country, she has to get it through a white man. Because she can't get it through her economically starved, dominated, and beaten so-called black man. She can't get it from him. So if she's going to get and have any type of sense of safety and security and her needs being met, they're going to be met through the white man, or you could say the system, the government, the welfare system, whatever you want to fill in the blank. Speaking of the welfare system, let's start at the top right of your corner of your screen. The welfare destruction of the so-called black family. That's an image clip from the movie Claudine. Many of those of us in the black community, we know this all too well. But for those that don't know, this was an image in the movie called Claudine, where Claudine was a single mom, and she had a good black man that cared about her, wanted to build a life with her, but because Claudine was already on welfare, at that time the welfare program did not allow a black woman to have a man in her house and continue to receive her welfare benefits, which paid for the food and resources that she needed for her children. It was black women were forced to choose. Either you choose your black man and we're going to economically starve both of y'all, including your children, or you put that black man out and never have a black man around, and we'll give you some crumbs of resources and money to at least feed yourself and your children. That was the decision that black mothers were forced into during the welfare program. And they would send welfare agents, like you see on your screen around, unannounced every so often, to try to catch black women with men in their houses so they could cut off their welfare benefits. Do you see that? So that's a beginning or another part of understanding and answering your questions to all my other listeners. Where were the fathers? The U.S. government and every state government did this throughout the United States. They forcefully pushed out the fathers in the so-called black community. The fathers who typically bring the discipline, the resources, the moral standards for the children. They forcefully pushed them out. Now, once the children get of a certain age and a certain size, they get to a point where they feel they don't have to listen and be mindful and respectful to mama's rules anymore. Those are the times where, if and when there was a father still there, still with his natural authority and all other authorities, Those are the times when that father would, let's say, lay down the rules of the house or enforce the rules of the house. Moral standards, integrity, discipline, if and when needed. But that's not there. The U.S. government forced black fathers out of the house, even still until this day. They've loosened up the so-called welfare rules a little bit, but it still has the same effect on most of our so-called black women today. Especially most of the mothers that you saw of the children that were in the downtown Chicago image. Then you also have, as I showed you before, the psychological, spiritual, and emotional destruction that white men have done to rape our black, so-called black women to a point to where they're stuck in a satanic twist. They're like, if I get in trouble or have need, I can't go to the economically starved black man. I can't go to my man or my would-be husband for help. They're economically starving him out. So I have to go to the so-called white man so I can at least get enough assistance and our resources to be able to feed my children when I'm in need. And if need be, if it comes down to a decision of me turning in the name and information of the father of my children and having him experience many negative consequences for being the father of my children, i.e. child support and various other consequences, versus actually getting resources and whatnot. That's what you do. When you go file for TANF or whatever other assistance, they start requiring mothers to provide the information for the fathers. Because they're going to send bills and child support, orders to those fathers also. Okay? In addition to that, the overall economic starvation of both so-called black fathers and black mothers. Remember, I told you slavery never ended. So what that results in, let's start with so-called black mothers. Most so-called black mothers actually hate black men for a long list of reasons of being unprotected and unprovided for. Most so-called black women in America feel they can't trust or rely on so-called black men. They feel they have no protection, no self-reliance, or take that back. They feel like they have to be self-reliant because they can't rely on him. Most so-called black women feel that black men are powerless. So therefore, they're forced to rely on the system or the man, as we say it, or the white man and his satanic governmental system. So this is answering, again, your question of what happened to the parents of those children. And I'm showing you how the reprobate minds in the children were created. Now let's move over to the black father. Most black men in America actually hate black women. And I would argue here it's not the same kind of hate or the same level hate, because most of us, we love y'all. God, we love y'all and adore y'all so much. We just hate what y'all do. We hate y'all response and how y'all handling things and throwing us under the bus. We want y'all to stop throwing us under the bus. Okay? Because we know that's one of the only ways, or one of the things that is going to help us move forward and repair all of this damage that's been done to us. Okay? Most black men have no or very limited love or respect because of we're getting thrown, as black men, we're getting thrown under the bus because of this. Most black men in the U.S. feel that black women want control of our households, over our marriages and relationships. And we know that control is satanic for many different reasons, including, worst come to worst, she's going to turn to the system or the white man instead of me. She has more trust and belief in the system or the white man instead of the so-called black man, her husband. So she's grown up with an independent mindset. And for us to marry or be together as black men, most so-called black women want us to submit to them. What they want, how they want things to be, how they want things to go, you name it. And if we don't submit to that, then you ain't the right man for me. But if they actually find a black man that is simple enough to submit to that, they don't want that dude. They may deal with him for a short period of time, but that ain't the kind of man they really want. But they're stuck in that twist. They want a strong black man that stands for something, that will protect and provide and love them. That's what they really want. But they won't get in position to allow that to happen. And lastly, of course, as I've already explained, most black women are upset or hate, most black men are upset and will hate black women because they will have the system or the white man attack us even more. Again, I am answering the question of where were their parents. This is the scenario and situation and historical references that I've already provided that have created this situation on your screen. Okay? Let's move forward. So, to recap, basically this American system started out with slavery. Then they just changed the name to capitalism and started coming up with other trickerated names, the market, inflation, unlimited profits, just keep going down the line. It's all the same slavery game for those who are profiting from this satanic system. They keep stepping on all the slaves for them to stay rich or continue to get rich, while the people who they are stepping on, stepping over, continue to be economically starved. Do you see that? Okay. Now, I shared that with you. I got a couple more clips of some additional things that are happening here here recently. More ways that they have economically, that we are economically starved here in the U.S. as so-called descendants of slaves. Let me get it open up for you. All right, here we go. More ways of this exact same economic starvation. Here we go.
First step to the process was for me to...
Oh, I got a colonizer invader. We're going to banish that colonizer invader immediately. And as soon as we get done banishing this invader, we're going to come back. Let me restart that. Get that together. Okay. Here we go. Come right back at you. There we go.
Was for me to pull equity from my house so I could do a cash purchase.
Her sister, who lives right next door, had her house appraised for $189,000. But to her surprise, her appraisal came back at $125,000.
I was confused, and then I started reading through it, and there was language in there that it seemed like it was racially biased.
So she asked the realtor, who agreed it was not right. So she got a second appraisal. This time, it came back at $110,000.
How did I lose $15,000 in roughly 3 months?
She then turned to Amy Nelson with the Fair Housing Center of Central Indiana, who introduced her to whitewashing.
Very often, people of color feel not only do they need to take photos down, they need to take even stronger means of changing books in the bookcase, hiding clothing, having somebody stand in for them who's white or Caucasian.
And I asked a friend of mine and her husband, I asked her, if her husband would sit in for me.
The third time with her friend's husband posing as her brother. Duffy's house appraised for $259,000, more than 50% higher.
The only difference in all three appraisals was a black woman sitting there versus a white man sitting there.
The problem, though, that we certainly have at the Fair Housing Center is we hear far too many of these stories.
Duffy's story inspired people from across the country reaching out to the Fair Housing Center for assistance. Nelson says a national reckoning needs to happen. A bill was introduced this year by Indiana Representative Cherish Pryor with House Bill 1101 about discriminatory appraisal practices. That bill went nowhere.
Okay, there you have it. Yes, this is here in Indianapolis, Indiana. Just like it happens everywhere throughout the United States. This is just another way that they economically starve the so-called black community. Remember redlining? Things like, they just switch it up, trickerate it, but the effect remains. Economic starvation or theft from the so-called black community. What was that, almost $100,000 that they try to steal from? Wait a minute, let me get back to this. Yeah. Over $100,000 that if this homeowner wasn't diligent, that would have been stolen from this homeowner. Literally. And if a white family had purchased this home because they saw it was a great deal, the day after they purchased it, that new white family could have gotten this home appraised a day later for this $260,000. They could have sold it a week later and made over $100,000. Made almost $125,000 in like a week profit that was stolen from the previous so-called black owner. Do you see that? This is happening every day throughout the United States. Remember I told you economic starvation? I'm doing this to make a point. We're almost there. I got another one for you. Now, more crimes that are happening right now that are due to reprobate minds? I got one for you. Here we go.
Imagine putting a lot of effort and money into fixing up this house and putting it on the market. Beautifully rehabbed home that is move-in ready, says the listing for the 3-bedroom home in Jacksonville, Florida. Then, great news, you get an offer. But owner Patty Peoples never expected what happened next.
Patty Peoples says she went to check on the house and was surprised to find a menacing dog on the porch with a litter of 10 puppies. Even more shocking is what she says she found inside the house. 2 women, squatters, were living there.
I own the house.
Over the weeks that followed, Peoples says she and her business partner had several confrontations with the women, who claimed they had a right to be there because they had a lease.
I'm not touching you. You are touching me.
And this lady is touching me.
We're blocking you from coming in the house. You are doing too much.
Police were called to sort through the mess.
He told me that, in fact, he couldn't do a thing, that this was a civil matter, and that I needed to go through a formal eviction process.
In fact, the homeowner was told if she stepped foot in the house, she would be the one trespassing, not the alleged squatters.
It took weeks before a court ordered the local sheriff to remove all persons from the property and return possession to the rightful owners.
A notice of that they had to vacate the property in 24 hours was posted, and in that 24 hours, they disappeared into the night.
And this is what she found when she got back in the house.
Oh my God.
Holes in the walls, rooms trashed. All she says acts of vengeance for kicking out the squatters. Peoples puts the damage at almost $38,000.
Leaving a house vacant in today's market, no matter where you live in the United States, is opening yourself up for squatters.
The porch with a litter of...
Yeah, I told y'all something in this report today is going to set you on fire. I told y'all up front. I got something for everybody. Reprobate minds. First off, there's a lot of property owners and homeowners that are experiencing this all across the country. These squatters. What the hell? I wish it would. I cannot tell y'all what my response will be because it will be self-incriminating. But I guarantee no squatters in a property of mine will remain there for more than a few hours after I discover them. I guarantee that. Okay, let's just set that off. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, this is happening all over the country. People with reprobate minds. Trying to take advantage of other people, stealing from other people. I mean, just what it is. So now, I want to add this little caveat. I don't know if this is at play in this particular report, but there is a thing. As crazy as this report is by itself, there is a additional crime that happens in these situations oftentimes. And that additional crime is there will be a third person who will act or pretend to be the property owner of a home that is sitting vacant. They will lie and pretend to be the property owner, and they actually will put the property up for rent, listed for rent in rental listings. A new family or person will come to rent a home. The fake owner will tell them they're approved. All you have to pay is your first and last, and you can move in tomorrow or whatever, right? Just give me the first and last. And oftentimes, as you guys know, that's several $1,000s, right? That's why the fake owners are doing this out there. Again, I'm not saying that's a part of this situation. But so the new family will come in and they will pay the fake owner the first and last, have a signed fake lease, and literally be in what they believe is their new rental home that they're happy with. And then sometime after that, the real owner will come back like this lady did. Again, I don't know if this applies here in this report, but the real owner will come back and show them, go, what the hell? Get out of my house. And the people in it, the family in it will say, wait, no, who are you? We have a lease. Here it is right here. Get out of here. We don't know who you are. So then you got an even worse situation. But it's happening all over the U.S. Reprobate minds. And yeah, the fake owner that collected that first and last, they long gone. Everything about them was fake. They gave fake names, fake information, so you can't track them down. They gone. They got that money and gone. Yeah, it's been happening like crazy. So watch out for that one too. But reprobate minds. The family in this home could have legitimately went through this process that I just explained to you, thinking it was legit. We don't know about this report. But it is happening. Not in every case, but it is happening. So, the point is, family, reprobate minds is happening. Now, to follow up on the point that I have made here in regards to the difference between a person with a reprobate mind that just picked a day and decided to do criminal acts. Okay? Just woke up and decided to do criminal acts versus a person or group of people that have been economically starved for hundreds of years. Yes, any crimes that are committed, yes, they all are criminals. They all should be held accountable to our justice system. I agree with you. But at the same time, or dare I say, until this occurs, this here, let me just play this clip. Here you go.
That will stimulate this economy for the 2.6 million capital, money, reparations. That will stimulate this economy for the 2.6 million blacks in California. There's only one thing that would stop our children from busting into these liquor stores. There's only one thing that would stop our kids from busting into these jewelry stores, stealing watches and jewelry. And that's reparations. Capital.
Do you agree? Yeah. When that debt is paid, if it's paid correctly, which is cash payments only, nothing else, most of us, so-called black people here in America, the descendants of the slave trade, most of us will be able to finally begin to provide for ourselves. Most of us will be able to create our own opportunities instead of having to rely on anyone else to give us opportunities. We'll be able to start and create our own businesses. Bring to our communities the things that we need as a community. I'm going to hit you with it one more time.
would stop our children from busting into these liquor stores. There's only one thing that would stop our kids from busting into these jewelry stores, stealing watches and jewelry, and that's reparations. Capital.
Yeah. Oh, didn't have the sound. Let me run that back.
Money, reparations. That will stimulate this economy for the 2.6 million blacks in California. There's only one thing that would stop our children from busting into these liquor stores. There's only one thing that would stop our kids from busting into these jewelry stores, stealing watches and jewelry, and that's reparations.
Why? Because for the so-called black community, the descendants of the slave trade, we have been economically starved and stolen from for over 400 years. That's why many, not all, but many in our community, especially our children, they don't care anymore. They've lost all hope. They've given up. They feel that they have nothing to lose. They got nothing anyway. And they understand the other side of it, which is most everything in regards to economics and wealth has been stolen from us by this country and those that benefit from this country and profit. So going in, looting this or that is just an eye for an eye, right? Yeah. Again, to my white listeners, y'all saying, no, you crazy. That's why I don't listen to you. Wait, hold up. Let me remind y'all of something. They're just criminals and they just this and that. You know what y'all saying behind closed doors. Let me remind you of something. I'm glad you're saying that. What did Europeans or white people do in Europe when y'all were being economically starved? Yeah. Do you remember there was a such thing called the Dark Ages? Yeah. Wasn't that long ago? Why would they call the Dark Ages? Other than the cannibalism and all the other wild, crazy, insane things that was happening. Why? In fact, literally to this day, it's gonna really trip you out. Y'all, most different European nations and so-called tribes, yeah, I'm going there. Y'all been fighting amongst each other for centuries. Why? Greed and economic starvation. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I remind you? Yeah. I don't care whether you got your Slavic, your Greek, your what is it? Your what's the other ones? I can't spit out a bunch of them. Your Turkish, your German, your Polish, just go down the list. Go do your research. Wait a minute. Y'all shouldn't have to do no research. Y'all should know. Y'all do know your own history. Because many of y'all, rightfully so, y'all say, well, my people, go back so many generations, they were under oppression and enslaved too in various ways. This is exactly what I'm telling y'all. And what was y'all response? what you see on your screen. The same response of the looters that you see in downtown Chicago, in the Walmarts. It's the same response. My point is, economic starvation eventually produces the same response, no matter what group of people it's happening to. So to my white listeners, get that BS out your mind. Let that satanic mindset go. Y'all responded to economic starvation the exact same way that we have responded to it. And like I said, in fact, it's still going on to this very day. Don't believe me? Got something for you. Wrote a song about it. Here it goes. Why is there a war between the U.S. NATO forces and Russia? I'll wait. What is it about? It's about the threat of economic starvation. Russia is defending itself against NATO because if NATO does what it wants, ultimately it's going to attack Russia and take Russia over and put the Russian people into what? Say it with me now. Economic starvation. The exact same thing that happened all throughout the Dark Ages and all that other time during Europe. And this is Russia's response. Hell no. We're not falling for that again. We're going to defend ourselves. Just like all the other nations throughout Europe, the tribes always eventually rose up to fight back, like you see on your screen, because they were being economically starved of resources, opportunity, and hope, just to be able to live secure, successful lives. Yeah. I know I lost most of my white listeners. If you know a couple, your friend was on there and they left, they said, I can't take it. Call them up. Tell them come back. Y'all need this. So it has the response of fighting back, looting, rioting, all that. It has nothing to do with what race a group of people are. Nothing. It never has. You can go everywhere throughout the world. If there's a group of people that are being economically starved, after a while, a certain period of time of that same group of people are going to do what's on your screen. It's the human response. Now, the criminals, the satanic criminals that are economically starving that group of people, they're going to say, that group of people is this. They're going to call that group of people these names. They're terrorists. They're just not good human beings. They all the same descriptions you have for so-called black people here in the U.S. Yeah. And what's crazy is while y'all have had this satanic view of, in this case, so-called black people that have been economically starved for over 400 years, while having that, all of y'all have sat back and profited from this satanic system. All of y'all. Even if y'all are in poverty yourself, you still have white privilege. Like I showed you with the first video with the porch pirate. That same lady, instead of being a porch pirate, she could have went most places just a couple of blocks in that area, around that area where she was stealing packages, and got hired on to 2 or 3 different jobs right in that area. That same day. and been able to start making the money that she needed. But she chose to be a porch pirate. Do you see the difference now? Yeah. Again, y'all not getting this kind of breakdown most places off of these internet streets here that you're getting at One Brothas Mind. So smash the like button, share this report on all your social media with all your peoples, and be sure to be subscribed to One Brothas Mind, where we bring you the information and facts you need. Now, to the so-called black family, this is our solution. Sisters, y'all gotta stop throwing us under the bus. Y'all gotta force yourself to start respecting us. The ones of the so-called black men that are good men, respecting us, actually valuing good black men, because it ain't gonna be all of them. I can tell you that. Actually learning how to identify the difference between good black men and just black men that's out there that ain't got nothing for you, ain't gonna do nothing for you, that ain't gonna provide and protect you. Once y'all learn that, and here's a hint, most of the good black men that y'all do, because all of y'all know some good black men, most of them, they're in your friend zone. Most of them, you ain't giving them a second look. And we adore y'all. But because we know y'all don't respect us, y'all don't value us, those of us that are good black men, we've learned we got to keep it moving. Come up with some other solution. Even if that solution is remaining single and childless our entire lives. Most of us don't want that, but if it comes to that, so be it. That's far better than the destruction that is happening to us, that y'all putting on us. Hey, we waving the white flag now. That's what's happening out here in these streets. Y'all win. Okay, y'all win. Y'all the boss. Y'all in charge. Okay. I'm just going to go get my passport and I'm out. But y'all won. Good luck. That's what's happening. Or if no passport, just never mind. I'm good. I'm not not putting myself through that. No, I appreciate you. No, you can't come back to me after I have adored you for years. Step to you, try to show you that I care about you and that I'm a good man, and you weren't even interested. You didn't find no interest in me. You didn't give me a chance at all. Don't come back 5-10 years later talking about, okay. I should have been with you all along, so we can go and be together now. You know what you're gonna hear? Nah, I'm good. And y'all looking around, what you talking about? Why? Ain't you still in love with me? No. Yes, I am. I adore you. But I'm good. Keep it moving. I'm not interested in marrying you now. Why? I'm here right now. Ready. I'm ready. No, because you don't value me as a good man. Because if you did, you would have came to me like this years ago. While you were out there giving your best to them fill in the blanks out there in the streets. Thuggo and Ray and them. That wasn't going to do nothing for you. That didn't adore you and love you like I did. You gave your best to them. So don't come back bringing the leftovers, thinking I'm just going to be happy with the leftovers. Nah, I'm good, ma. That's what's happening. So For a lot of the sisters that y'all already in that trickeration situation, I got no answers for you. But teach your daughters not to make the exact same mistakes that you made. Teach your daughters, help them identify. If you don't know what a good man is like, many of y'all know older OGs, so-called black men out here that are really good men. Sit down, have a talk with them. Ask them, what's the difference between you and the rest of these fools out here? I know I may not be able to use this information to help me, but I want to have this information so I can try to teach it to my daughter. So she can have a chance. Okay? But this is our fix. Okay, so-called black family. And lastly, cut the check. And this concludes this broadcast from One Brothas Mind. We thank you for joining us. And as a part of the new black media, B1 choices are mandatory and being on code is required. But never fear, Yeshua the Christ is with you always. Shalom.